Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the country's biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And we've got one for you today. Lesley Joseph, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well, sitting behind my sunflowers with my clothes on. Thank you very much.
I've never done an interview over a bush before.
No, it's not a bush. It's a spray of sunflowers, rather beautiful sunflowers. You're not saying you're doing an interview over my bush, please. Let's correct that.
You did a beautiful thing about 20 odd years ago when I started. It was about 1997. I think you were in Annie, and ironically you're going back into it in just a couple of months' time. And you were so kind and sweet. I mean, you've been doing this forever, and the love for you just grows and grows, and you're still at it at the top of your game. It's remarkable.
Well, it's been interesting. I think Birds Coming Back on ITV did a great career boost. And then, of course, I did Young Frankenstein in the West End, which was glorious, working with Mel Brooks, and then walking to Rome and meeting the Pope, which was a bit off the wall, and then doing this, then going back into Annie. Of course, I first did Annie back in 1997 at the Victoria Palace, and that was probably when I spoke to you, and then we toured around. I was job sharing with Paul O'Grady. This time I'm job sharing with Craig Revel Horwood. It's interesting, but no, this has been glorious. This has been just filling in for 4 months, and it's such a lovely show with brilliant music by Gary Barlow.
It is beautiful. I was there at opening night in Leeds, and I'm in again tonight. And what this show has is great heart, of course. At the root of this is a love story and a tragic love story, and then just a load of women being naughty, having a load of camp-on nonsense, and we love it. It's uplifting and inspiring.
It's not just being naughty; it's actually being empowered, and I think that's the important thing about it. I think and that's what this show is. It's very much a team effort. It's people pulling together, and so often, everybody works in their little vacuum in various worlds, but with this, in theatre per se, you have to work together to make something work, and this is very much a team thing. It's also lovely to have women of a certain age having, lead roles, because I know things are changing, and I can't complain because the last 6 years have been very busy, but it is glorious to have some things where women are at the forefront, and that's really good, and we've got a great group of women as well. So, it's been extraordinary. I miss it when I go to Annie, but Annie has a special place in my heart, I think.
Do you know how magnetic you are? I mean, I just saw you in Newcastle in Young Frankenstein on, I think it was first night there, and it was amazing, and I just loved it. It's a shame it didn't do longer. But then you're in something like this that just is full night after night, and the love for Annie continues, and they book you. Why you? Because they could pick anybody, couldn't they?
I think they probably could. I mean, I think there's always a thing about bums on seats. I think people always want to know that you can put bums on seats. Whether that works or not, I don't know. I mean, I don't really question. I think people like to put people who they think or know can do it, because if you go for somebody you don't know or who is unknown, it's an unknown thing. You don't know whether they're going to be able to do it on the stage, and luckily I can slip between drama or musical or straight plays or comedy, and that's but I mean, theatre's at my heart. That's why I came into the business. I've always just think that's what I want to do, into theatre, and I love it's almost, I mean, that's why I love panto. When my father died, I went into his shed 20 years later. We never went in because it was piled high, and I found an old toy theatre which was built, and it was Aladdin and The Wizard of Oz were the shows in there, and I thought, oh my goodness, that's what I grew up with, was my dad doing all the things. And that's why I have such a deep love of panto. And panto for me is a mixture of song, dance, stand-up. You have to be able to pull the strings in at the right place, the right time. You have to work with an audience, and it's not just playing around, it's a real art. And that's why I'm thrilled that Palladium has now shown panto again. It's back in its real home, and it's got an Olivier, for goodness sake. So it's finally kosher after all these years, and people are suddenly saying, oh yes, okay, you can do panto now after all these years, 30 years or something, just schlepping round, going to theatres here, there and everywhere. It's really important, and it brings people into the theatre as well. People, especially kids, you need to develop that love for theatre.
And this year you're doing the biggest theatre in the UK, the Birmingham Hippodrome. It runs for about 19 weeks or something like that. It's a big whopper, isn't it?
What's really exciting is we've got the Palladium sets and costumes from last year when Dawn French did it. I'm really excited. Also, I get to work with Matt Slack, who I adore. We call each other mother and son. He's really good, and he does it every year there. So there's him and Joe McElderry and Flawless, and Faye Brooks, who's just come out of Corrie. So it's a really strong cast, so it's going to be great fun.
We always fall in love with you immediately, and especially in a show like Calendar Girls. I mean, it's so filled with heart. And I think the public can smell a fake, and that's the problem in this business. You've always been you, and you do what you do very well. It's wonderful, isn't it, at this point, to still be booked and still know that people care.
Yeah, I love your thing, the public can smell a fake. I have to say, what's interesting about this one, though, I'm doing a different part. Before I played Chris twice. And this time I'm doing Jessie, and Jessie is older, and the song that Jessie has is all about growing older. And of course, you know, that's nothing that I'm not going through at the moment, because you look in the mirror and suddenly, you know, you see the white hairs and you see the lines on your face, and it's not having had anything done, and it's quite scary when suddenly, and her line, her song begins is how gently it begins, and it does, and so I think I have to pay tribute to Tim Firth and Gary Barlow for this, because their music and their lyrics are so on the money. I mean, the lyrics are beautiful. Somebody came to see this the other day and they said, "Oh my goodness, your song is like Dylan Thomas, do not go gently into that good night." And it is. It's that rage against the dying of the light, and that's exactly what it is. It's you know, don't accept growing old. Get out there and fight with every inch of your fibre. And that's my song. But you know, Annie's songs. She has 3 of the there's fantastic songs, and I think everybody who comes to see this, they're moved, because everybody's either had cancer, or they're going through cancer, or they know somebody in their family or a friend. I don't think there's anybody that's not been affected by cancer. So the story, and again we know it's real, is incredibly moving. And then you get this empowerment where people say, okay, we're going to turn this into a positive, and we are going to absolutely fight against this, and we're going to make so. And we all know, because they come and see it all the time, the real Calendar Girls, they've raised millions, you know, for something which is going to be for a settee. So that is 20 years ago this year that they started this. So that again is incredibly empowering. So everything about this, there's a huge amount of heart in this show.
It's a 5-star show with a 5-star cast. You're a legend, and we love you very much. Lesley Joseph, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
I've enjoyed talking over your bush.
Get off.